and advocates for education, gun reform, and immigration reform. So it is my honor today to introduce U.S. Congressman Lloyd Doggett.
What a powerful statement. We got a bright sunny day, and we're about focusing a little bright sunlight on this whole issue of gun safety. And it's getting a little warm out here, and frankly, I can't help but get a little warm, in fact, a little hot under the collar, and just plain angry about the inaction on this gun safety situation. Those stories were so powerful from our victims who have faced these tragedies firsthand. And so I took note of how many people came up here when we were asked to have any victim who wanted to come up and tell the story of their family. But if you look around at everyone who's here who did not come up during that time, what we're really looking at is all the potential victims of school violence and gun violence around our country. Because all of us, until we accomplish the agenda of Moms Demand Action, face the potential at school, at a concert, at a movie, at our place of worship, at our workplace of facing gun violence. And that's why we're shining the light, getting angry sometimes, getting smart all the time about how we're going to deal with this tragedy. I salute Moms Demand Action. What a powerful statement for March for Our Lives. Certainly the Peace Initiative, the Shelter, all of those who are here today to advocate on this subject. Seeing the horror and the grief of the families there in Santa Fe so recently, just like Sutherland Springs before them, I thought that day, this could be my granddaughter's school. I'm here today with my wife, Libby. We've got granddaughters at 3 different schools. And like many parents, we're concerned about their future. And then even that very day of the shootings at Santa Fe, before dark, there was another school shooting over in Georgia. And each time what happens in Congress and other governmental bodies that people want a moment of silence. Well, we've had enough moments of silence. What we need is a time of action, moments of action, many of them. There are many issues besides guns involved in this. But you know, other countries in the world, they have video games, some violent video games that I don't particularly like and wouldn't want any member of my family involved with. They have family members and neighbors that have mental health issues like we do. What they don't have is that they're not surrounded by guns. And those other countries have much, much lower death from guns than we do, despite very similar conditions on the other issues that are mentioned. What we need are more officials with the courage, the intestinal fortitude to stand up to the gun lobby and say, I'm not taking a penny from the NRA. And what we've had instead is too many officials, especially here in Texas, that seem to raise their hand and pledge their allegiance to the NRA. It was only last month that our governor, our lieutenant governor, our senators, and a number of our members of Congress were in Dallas for the NRA convention. And to me, NRA has begun to stand for no Republican action when it comes to gun violence. But all you need to know about Governor Abbott's roundtable was it wasn't very round. Moms Demand Action, that has been working longer and harder than just about anybody else on this problem, putting lives on the line to stand up against some of the nonsense that has occurred from the other side here in San Antonio, they were excluded. Dynamic students like Sophia, who we just heard from, March for Our Lives has reinvigorated this movement and kept it on the front pages. Governor Abbott didn't want them there. The teacher we just heard from, none of the leaders of our state teachers organizations were included in the roundtables. So it's little wonder that the recommendations were so narrow, because he didn't want to hear from those who talk about guns. The only problem with his 43-page report on gun violence is the gun part, because it wasn't there. Some of you may have seen just this past week a new survey of opinions here in Texas, where so many of us grew up around hunting and guns. I certainly did in my family. There was a survey that said 93% of Texans support background checks. So that the people that get the guns are the ones that don't have a problem with domestic violence or mental health or violations in the military. But that 93% is not being represented in our state government. The governor has charged our schools with more responsibilities, but not really provided much in the way of new resources. He basically, in his report, says, if you need money, ask Washington for it. And he also, at a time we know that we've got a little bit of a recess here, he's not moving forward to take action on these matters or call the legislature into session to do anything about it before the next school year gets underway. I just believe that we need a better program to address school violence than summer break. I do want to honor at least one business that has stood up and done the right thing about military assault weapons, and that's Dick's Sporting Goods. They're out in South Park Mall, and I think we need to be asking every other local business that's selling military assault weapons, weapons of war, why they're doing it. Because those don't belong. There's certainly not much help in doing anything other than obliterating something in the hunting season. They're only available to kill people. That's what they were designed to do, and we don't need them on our streets causing more violence. I'm proud of the March for Our Lives and the Mom Demands Action agenda, and I support every single item on that agenda. We, in the Congress, we cannot even get a discussion, a vote on whether to set up a commission on gun violence, much less to actually do something about it. I think what we need to do is to follow the counsel of my desk mate there, the great civil rights icon, John Lewis, who said that Dr. King taught us how to stand up and how to be brave. That's what March for Our Lives is doing. That's what Moms Demand Action is doing. We need more fearless students, more fearless moms, more fearless allies out there putting themselves on the line, determined to make a difference. Certainly if you're 18 or older, it's by being registered to vote and taking everyone in your neighborhood, at your place of work, out to vote. But even if you're not 18, there are calls that need to be made. There are yard signs that need to be put up. There are messages that need to be sent around. And we need that kind of involvement, or we will never get this agenda accomplished. We just need to remember that while none of us are bulletproof, none of these elected officials are ballot-proof, and we can do something about it. I know we had Sheriff Lupe Valdez here, who, like our great Sheriff Salazar, is concerned about the security of our families, but has spoken out about the need for gun safety. And we have Claire Barnett here. Claire, I saw you earlier, and salute you for running for the Texas legislature. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for persevering. It's going to take a lot of endurance. This is a marathon. It's not a sprint. But we just have to keep organizing and not agonizing, telling our stories, adding education and information to our neighbors, broadening our circle, bringing more people here so that we have fewer victims of violence, fewer potential victims of violence, and more proud Americans who've come together to take on this powerful lobby and to prevail, because the future of our families and our countries is at stake. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for being the elected official with courage and fortitude that we need. I appreciate that a lot.